Welcome to the finals of the cash tournament for February in Orlando, Florida. It's actually at the Game Academy there. The semifinals, there was a semifinals that was cut to top 4. I did defeat my opponent. The semifinals match won't be uploaded. I checked the video and it kind of cut out about halfway through, so I don't have the full game to actually upload for it. So you just have to trust me that I won and made it to finals, because here I am. I defeated a Gearsmith Rogue, like a token manipulation deck. So my opponent in the finals is actually the player from round 1 with the Banker Arcanist control that he had, where, it was just a complete blowout. It's not a complete blowout for him this time. I'm opting to go first, so I'm mulliganing 4. And one of the things about this combo deck is that if you know you're playing a control, then you kind of want to go for a little bit more of an aggressive hand to start with, just because control with Arcanist has so many easy ways to really disrupt the combo that a lot of other trades don't have. So you kind of just want to start getting in as much damage as you can early, and hopefully, kill them before they can really lock down and control the board. So on my turn, I just play an Obsession, and I play Micromagic Master, which makes 2/1/1, so I have 3 damage on the board. At the end of my turn, he plays Karmic Cake, which is a 2 cost. He can search his deck for a resource and put it into his hand. He chooses to find a Neurosis. It also has a recur, so he can use it in the discard pile to go find another staple resource later. So yeah, it's a really good turn 0 play. Anytime you can do something on turn 0, especially that doesn't use your mana for your normal turn, or I'm sorry, your resources for a normal turn, it's very helpful. So start of his turn, he just plays the Neurosis, loses 1, goes to 24. But he does have 2 Greed and 2 Obsession now. He spends a little bit of time thinking about his turn, about what he wants to do with his resources, because he doesn't have any characters. So he just plays a Gilded Yurt, which is kind of questionable. That he can deplete it to pick a character, he controls, remove it from the game, comes back and play into his control. He also plays a Chamber Pot for 2. I might not have played the Yurt. I might have just played the Chamber Pot and then had that 1 extra just to use the Chamber Pot, because he starts using the Chamber Pot now to start slowing the damage down. Because I attack him for 3. I get in for 3, so I put him down to 21, and then he played another Neurosis in this turn, so he goes to 20. So I probably wouldn't have played that Gilded Yurt. I probably just would have saved it to Chamber Pot one of the things, to only take 2 instead of 3. Or not even played either one at the time and just drawn a card, since like I said, he doesn't have it. He doesn't play any characters for a little while. And talked to him after the game, he said he only had a few characters, and he had one that he actually did mulligan away because he was worried about my combo. Like, he wasn't expecting such an aggressive start from this, because the last game we played, it wasn't very aggressive. So I attack him again, and this time he does use the Chamber Pot to make one of my guys do no damage, so I only get 2 damage in for him. It goes to 18, and I just pay 3 to draw a card. Just looking for more things to play, just to keep, just so I can keep swinging. I just need to keep swinging, so I just play a resource and I just start swinging again. So I get in for a 3 this time. And then I pay 3 to draw. He pays 2 to go ahead and recur his Karmic Cake in response to me drawing, just to find an Obsession. And I play an Epiphany Ball, which is a 3 cost item. You deplete it, and you can search your deck for any card, put it into your hand, and then your opponent gains control of this item. So, one of the things I'm missing is that I'm missing Rage Threshold, and I remember that I have a few Rage cards in my hand, so I played the Epiphany Ball because I was going to use it to search for a Violence. But he actually plays Forget, picking the Epiphany Ball. Since he's playing Forget, I don't want to miss a chance of getting a free card, because typically, like I said, when you use Epiphany Ball, your opponent gains control of it, so they get to search their deck for any card. But since he's going to Forget, it's going to return to my hand. I don't want to miss this chance of getting a free card. However, I'm weary about picking a Violence, because if I take a Violence, then then he's well. Okay, the other part I forget is that you pick a card, you put it in your opponent's hand, and then you look at your put it in the owner's hand, look at your opponent's hand, and make him discard a card. So since I'm doing Epiphany Ball in response, the Epiphany Ball happens first. So whatever card I pick, he's going to see. So if I take a Violence, there's a good chance that he might, when he looks at my hand, make me discard that Violence. And I don't want that to happen because I really need my Violence. I need my Rage threshold. So I'm looking about what is it I'm going to pull out. So I choose to take the second Epiphany Ball. Mostly because I didn't want to miss the opportunity to get a free card, but I don't want to take a card that's going to be, like I said, amazing that that he's just going to end like a Dark Awakening or something. He's just going to immediately make me get rid of and lose it. But so I figured a second Epiphany Ball would be a good way to thin my deck, because if you got rid of one, I have another one to still search for my Violence, which I was worried about. And if you left me with both of them, I can always put one of them face down or something. He actually chooses to get rid of the Defalcating Machine, which that's something that a lot of players were doing because they knew of the combo. They were really worried about the combo going off and just dying in a single turn, which is a fair worry. But like in this moment, for one, I didn't have 2 Obsession out, so I couldn't play it anyway, and it cost 5, and so I don't think I necessarily would have taken it, but there wasn't really anything else useful in my hand, so it's probably the best card. Like I said, the rest of my hand was 2 Epiphany Balls, a Toxic Cultivator, the Defalcating Machine, and I forget what else. It wasn't much. So it might have been the best choice. So on my turn, I just replay. I attack for 3 more damage, get in there for more damage. He doesn't respond, so he's down to 12 now. And then I replay my Epiphany Ball, so I can search for my Violence, because, as I mentioned, I really need to get my Violence. So he spent, like I said, and the other thing, too, that really hurt him, that he even mentioned, was that he really needed a crest, or some way to start searching for tactics, because he was hoping for an early Desolate or something. And so he mentioned that he just had to keep digging for answers, because he didn't have any easy way to search. He didn't draw any of those pieces. And he didn't draw any characters, which really hurt him as well. So he's spent some time trying to figure out how to, the best way to get rid of the tokens, because he's essentially on a 4-turn clock. If he doesn't do something about one of these tokens soon, he'll just die in 4 turns. Now, he could keep reducing one every turn, which increases at 6 turns, which is pretty good. But he still needs an answer to actually get rid of them, or else they will eventually kill him. So he just pays 3 to draw a card, and he top decked the Desolate, which was just what he needed. So he plays it, and he picks 1. Desolate it costs 3. You choose a number for X, where X is equal to the amount of Obsession you control or less, so he chooses 1. And then all characters with a 1 strength are destroyed, because he chose 1. So I play a Tactician Vacation in response. Tactician Vacation costs 4. Your opponent cannot respond. If you played it in response to a tactic, which Desolate is, it terminates the tactic, so the tactic has no effect. And then no other tactics for the rest of the turn can be played. Oh, I take it back, though, because I just noticed, and I remember that I didn't have Rage Threshold. And I'm like, oh wait, actually, hold on, I can't play this. And so when you're in tournament, if you do make a misplaced pixie, kind of like a warning for anything, but you back up if you can. And so since nothing has changed, since I played it, we didn't do anything, nobody played more cards, we revert back to the state that we were at when the play mistake happened. So I put Tactician Vacation back in my hand, I untap my resources, and Desolate's still on the stack, or not officially. So now I'm trying to figure out how I can try to save my guys, because I really want them to keep beating them down. I could Epiphany, I was thinking about Epiphany Balling and then searching for the Violence then, but then I could pay 4 to play it to get the resources, but then I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't have any resources, or I wouldn't have enough resources to play Tactician Vacation. If I had an ABZ, that would have been helpful. Sadly, I didn't. So I just pay 3 to draw, hope for something, and it doesn't happen, so all my guys are wiped out. I go into Epiphany Ball at the end of his turn. And I do this time. I do go ahead and search up a violence. So at the start of the turn, I can play it. And he was asking about it, like, yeah, well, you get it now, so you'll get to search your deck next turn. So yeah, that is one of the problems with Epiphany Ball, is that it's amazing for you, but giving it to your opponent and letting them search for anything is not a pretty sight. So I did happen to draw a blow up, which is perfect. That's what I needed. So I just go and use the blow up on the Epiphany Ball. That way, it'll not only does it destroy the item, so you can't get any use out of it, but it also does 3 damage to his faction. He's reading Yurt, and because he thought Epiphany Ball was a character. I'm like, no, it's an item. That's why I can blow it up. And he's like, oh, well, yeah, that happens then. So I destroy the Epiphany Ball. I don't let him get to search, which is great for me. And then he also takes 3, and he goes down to 9. And now I played a Deadly Striker, which is normally fine because it's guaranteed 4 damage, but I am playing Arcanist, and Arcanist have cards called Redonkulus, which he plays right there. And what Redonkulus is that, especially when you play it with flip up, it costs 5. If you play it with flip up, your opponent has to discard 2 cards, and then if your opponent has 3 or fewer cards, you remove the character from the game. And removing a character from the game does not destroy the character. So, since it does not destroy the Deadly Striker destruction trigger does not go off. It's kind of sad. So I just play a Surplus Soldier again. It's a guy, so I can start swinging again. Pay 3 to draw. I actually get lucky with a top deck and get another Micromaging Master, so I can start proper aggro again. And again, I have no cards in hand, so it did kind of set me up for, if he top decked another Desolate, then he's going to wipe my board again. But I mean, at this point, I feel like I just need to keep, since he's at 9, I just need to keep running guys and just try to keep pressuring him to take him out before he can establish a board presence. Because his board presence will beat my board presence eventually, unless I can combo. So I just run it out there because holding it in my hand isn't going to do me any good. So I'm just like, alright, let's put everything out there and let's just start swinging. We'll go for it. So another thinking turn for him. It does take a little bit. I believe he decides to draw for turn because he's like, okay, I have enough resources, but I am winning the resource race essentially right now because I have 8 and I believe he only has 6, and so I mean that can happen. And one of the other things too is that like Stutter Shies when they're destroyed and the Surplus Soldier when it's destroyed, it goes face down as a resource. That really helps me accelerate as well. And you want a lot of resources because you want to be able to dig through the deck fast so that you can find your combo pieces. Because combo pieces are what this deck is all about. At least 3. So he pays 2 to play an Obscene Astrologer, which is a very nice card for Arcanist. It's a 1/2/3. You can deplete it to play a tactic for free, as long as it has a numeric cost 5 or less. So he just goes and plays the Redonkulus right now for 3, because I don't have any cards in my hand, so he didn't have to worry about flipping it up. He could have depleted the Obscene Astrologer to use it instead. So I go and in response, because I don't want the Surplus Soldier to remove from the game, I want it destroyed because I want it face down as a resource. So I flip up a Noble Sacrifice, which is pick a character you own and a character your opponent owns, which I could never do before because I didn't have any characters. Destroy them both. And then I'd get to draw a card off of it. So in response to the Noble Sacrifice, before that happens, he's playing... I didn't see the picture. He's playing something, but... he also has a Yurt in play, so I mean, I know he has a Yurt and he can save his guy. But like I said, it's more just about drawing cards. I don't have any cards in my hand, and getting that guy to face down a resource instead of having him removed from the game. It might not have been the best play. What card did he play there that he just took out my Micromaging Master? I'm not sure what card he played. It might have been another Redonkulous? I missed it, I don't remember, I'm sorry. So, that the Noble Sacrifice resolved, I'd get a card. He does Yurt out the Obscene Astrologer to save it, which is fine, because that means he won't be able to block, because that was his only character. And I'm really sad. And then when I go back to think about it as well, I think maybe I should have sacrificed the Stuttershy. But one of the things about the Stuttershy too is that it would have given him one more influence, which, yes, he would have gone from 9 to 10, but I don't want to give him the influence, so... Or I could have saved the Noble Sacrifice, because it might not have been worth the fight, over the Surplus Soldiers, because it wasn't that good of a card anyway to fight over. So I'll attack him for 1, he'll use his Scintillating Chamber Pot to nullify it, and I'll attack him again and get 1 point of damage in. Knock him to 8. It's a slow grind. Just trying to get points in there. So yeah, start of his turn, the Gilded Yurt is still in play, so that means that the Obscene Astrologer comes back into play. Now the one thing about Yurt is that when you do use it to remove a character at the start of the turn, when the Yurt re-triggers to bring it back, the character is not in play at that moment. So you can't attack with a character because it didn't start the turn of play. If he plays a Wrinkly Rabbit for 6, he completely attaches everything to play it. It would have been a 2, 4, 5, 6 character. So in response, I go ahead and use another Noble Sacrifice out of my hand, picking my Stuttershy and the Rabbit to get rid of it, because I don't want to start getting beat down that fast, and it's covert. I might not need to do it yet, but... And actually, I'm surprised that he didn't use Gilded Yurt on it to save it. That was probably a mistake on his part. And this is actually a play mistake on my part. That won't change. So I attack. He blocks. I attack in a party of 2, so that way I can assign 2 damage to it. He actually blocked and assigns 1 damage to Majig, and then tries to save the Astrologer with the Gilded Yurt. And I play a Cock Block, which costs 4, and you play it in response to an ability, and the ability has no effect. So that means that Gilded Yurt does not leave play. Gilded Yurt does not make the character leave play, because Gilded Yurt has no effect. But I was able to kill the character. However, he did do 1 point of damage to one of the Microjigs, so one of those Microjigs should have been destroyed. However, people were, again, this is the final, so a lot of people were kind of milling around, talking and asking things about Cock Block, and so I guess we both just kind of forgot about it. So I do have this 1 extra Micromajig in play that's going to get in a couple points of damage. It wouldn't have changed the game. Essentially, he would have been at 1 life when he goes to 0. So it probably wouldn't have changed the game. It might have changed it. But, I mean, like I said, neither one of us noticed. So, yeah, attack with the Deadly Striker. He uses, and rightly so, the Scintillating Chamber Pot on him so that it doesn't do 4 damage to him. And then I get 3 damage in with the Micromajigs, and he goes to 5. It should have only been 2 Microjigs, so he should have been at 6. But again, I mean, I could have always just done like a Dark Awakening or something on Deadly Striker instead of what I did do. I'm sorry, not a Dark Awakening. Oh no, I can't Noble Sacrifice because he doesn't have any characters out. I was going to say I could always Dark Awaken and Noble Sacrifice or something, but he doesn't have any characters that wouldn't have worked right now. So he starts digging for answers because at this point he's really low and he's pretty much dead. Unless he starts playing some characters to block and kill some things. So he just passes the turn and says go, I'll pay 3 draw. And then I'll pay 3 draw again. And he says okay, because I mean, the second pay 3 to draw is always kind of scary, because like, man, do they have a board wipe that I won't be able to respond to? Are they going to do something? Luckily he didn't, so it was okay. I'll just play another resource, and then the first thing I do is attack the Deadly Striker, which he uses. And I ask him to pay for it just so I make sure. And then I'll attack for each one of these one at a time. And he takes off 3, which should have been 2 more. So he would have been at 6 instead of 5. He would have only taken 2, so he'd be at 4 at this point. Yeah, so he just shows his hand like I don't have any characters, and he's like, I just think to do anything. So I play a Micromajig Master to make 2 tokens, and then I search, and then I just say, okay, I'm going to search, and I search up for a blow up, which will destroy his item and do 3 damage to him, which kills him. But again, since he should have been at 4, he should be at 1 now. And unless he drew something to wipe the board, I would have killed him last turn. Although I probably wouldn't have searched for that. I probably would have searched for something to try to kill my my Deadly Striker, or just wait. Because like I said, I could have just gotten a Noble Sacrifice. So once he did play a character, just destroy both characters in response. So that was the finals. I won. Thanks for watching.